We're finally here to talk about Eyes of Wakanda, but was it a bomb? Was it a bust? Or was it amazing? We'll find out in just a few minutes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Marvel Talk. The Empress Peggy is unavailable this evening, so it'll just be me and Andre. I'm sorry, but you'll have to suffer with just the two of us. We're here to talk Eyes of Wakanda. We wanted to do this episode last week, but we'd all had some stuff going on. We couldn't make that work, but we're here to talk about it tonight. Andre, overall, what were your thoughts on this show? And then we'll get into episode by episode in just a little bit.
I thought it was good. How do I put this without shitting on it? I enjoyed the show overall. I just don't think I'm ever going to go back and watch it again. Personally, it was fine. I enjoyed it. It just, and the other thing is, bunch of some of these Wakandans suck.
All right. So let me break this down a little bit differently and see if this helps you kind of hit the mark with what's going on. What I think was going on with this show. This show was mismarketed. I think once you get into episode 2, you learn right away what this show is and what it's about.
The word.
And I think episode 1 doesn't do a good job of telling you what you're going to see. And the thing they saved for episode 4, while fun and great, I would have loved teases of it throughout the rest of the show.
Yeah, like the way you have certain characters portrayed in this, I'm like, man, they're the villains. Well, they're technically supposed to be the heroes of your episode, but they're kind of villains in what some of these war dogs do. And I'm like,
I heard the word war dog so many times, I expected a shitty white American wrestler to come out with a crappy cowboy hat and start saying things like driller.
Whoa. Chase Owens is not part of the war dogs.
I wasn't talking about Chase Owens. I was talking about Clark Connors.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
I said shitty American with crappy cowboy hat.
You said shitty, so I assume Chase Owens, not great wrestler with a cowboy hat in Clark Connors.
I said shitty American, so Clark Connors. Anyways, I heard the word war dog so many times, I did expect Clark Connors to pop out at one point and be like, hey, that's our shtick, brother.
Yeah, but again, so I remember us talking about this show a while back when it was like first really talked about it. And when we talked about it, I remember us talking about this being about the spies for Wakanda, not
which are called war dogs.
Yeah. So I remember us talking about this. So I went into this show expecting to be watching a show about the agents of Wakanda and doing things throughout history. Where I know a lot of other people went into this expecting Black Panthers, multiple Black Panthers of the history of stuff. And I'm like, no, that wasn't how this show was marketed. This show was said that it was going to be a show about spies in Wakanda's history.
See, I remember this show being marketed as like the history of Wakanda. And it is to an extent. But I would have much rather the show going through, and I don't like you said, I don't necessarily need all the Black Panthers, but I wanted more scenes in Wakanda and dealing with Wakanda than dealing with the ramifications of living in the outside world and all of the war dog. Like I just needed a little bit more in episode 1 to make us understand what was going to happen.
Yeah, like I liked the premise of this show. I just have this weird feeling, especially in episodes 2 and 3, which are my two favorite episodes of this season of this series, is 2 and 3. I still look at the main characters of those two episodes as the villains.
Oh God, no, not Memnon. Memnon was great. I love him.
He was a villain. He was a villain. In Achilles' eyes, he was the villain.
Well,
he betrayed his friend. He betrayed Achilles.
No, Achilles refused to listen to reason. We'll get to Achilles and Memnon. We'll get to Achilles and Memnon in a little bit. All right, let's go back and let's talk about some of the wonderful people in this, because there are some fantastic people in this show. Let's start with the producers. Todd Harris. I think Todd Harris did a fantastic job with the show. Like I said, I didn't love everything about this show, but the art style, the stories they told, in their own little ways, these were really fun and interesting stories encapsulated in these very small little things. And for that, I was really happy. I needed more of the overarching story throughout, but I thought Todd Harris did a very good job of telling these intricate stories with introducing characters that we know we're never going to hear from or see or talk about ever again. And I thought all that was really cool and interesting.
Yeah. I thought they told awesome stories. The guy has put together a great series, and I didn't even. I just literally looked at it right now, and I saw who the writer is for episode 2 and 3. I love this person. I am a big fan of him because of the Kevin Smith universe. I got to know him. Mark Bernardin. I became a fan of him because of Kevin Smith, and I've loved a lot of the stuff he's done. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh shit! And I love the 2 episodes that he wrote, and I'm like, oh, this makes even more sense to me now. He did a great job in writing the episodes that he wrote.
Yeah. Winnie Harlow playing Noni, the disgraced Dora Milaje, who ends up becoming a war dog after being sent to be a slave on a warship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought this was really interesting and really good. I thought she did a really fun job. But again, her episode suffered with not... Because I went back after I watched episode 4, I went back and watched episode 1, and it's so much better when you know what you're doing throughout after having seen what the show's about. Mm-hmm. Watching episode 1 again hits so much better knowing what you're watching. Which is why I continue to go back to, I think I needed more of the overarching story in the beginning. I think having a scene where the person who we meet in episode 4 starts the show and going, I'm looking for the anomaly. I'm looking for what's going to happen to save my world. And then telling these 4 stories after that would have made this show so much more interesting in the beginning.
Yeah, I very much agree with you on that point. Like, watching the first episode, okay, what is this about? Like, I thought this was about the spies, but okay, so she's hunting, and I'm like, okay, so she's a spy for them, okay. And then she fights the whole thing with the lion and everything, and then when you come back and she becomes one of them, I'm like, oh, okay, this is telling the early story. And then it kind of played on. And then the second one, I knew what I was going into because of what I saw in the first episode, right? So the second one played a lot better for me in that way, and I feel like just so well done.
Yeah. And of course, speaking of the lion, Nakati, Cress Williams, better known as
Black Lightning.
Yes, Black Lightning, one of the unsung heroes of the Arrowverse.
Yep.
I thought he was great. I loved his monologue. I say it's a monologue. It's not. It's a conversation with Noni on the ship when they're going back and forth about what it means to be a war dog and how the outside world needs what Wakanda has.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it because it's such an interesting way to look at it, where he's a former Wakandan general. He's a former war dog himself. And he realizes that Wakanda's wrong. In 1200 BC, he realizes that it's wrong. And we don't until 20-something.
1260 BC. Yeah, because 1200 is where the next one takes place, I think.
Yeah, that's true. But he realizes what he realizes what Killmonger realizes, which is inevitably what T'Challa realizes as well, is that the outside world needs what Wakanda has. And Wakanda
okay. But you got to give it to T'Chaka, too. He was the one that was starting to open the doors of Wakanda to the outside world. Not putting the technology out there, but he was with the spot in Civil War. He was introducing Wakanda to the world. So he was already opening that door before Killmonger walked through it.
No, I agree.
But Killmonger kicked that door right off its hinges. Don't get me wrong.
And that's why
T'Chaka cracked that door open.
And that's why the Lion is more aligned with Killmonger, because he was kicking the door down. He was like, we're going to help these slaves. We're going to help make them wonderful people. And like I said, he did it in the wrong ways, which is why it's a tyrannical kingdom.
Yeah, but he became his own warlord in the end.
So it was so interesting and so good. I really enjoyed his character.
For me, the Lion was the best part of episode 1.
And there's really nothing more. And with episode 1, other than these two characters, we really don't meet anybody of substantial. We meet Achaea at the very end, where we find out that, she's going to make Noni part of the Hatuzari, which is the War Dogs, because she actually offers to give her back her old position in the Dora Milaje. And she's like, I can't do that. That's not who I am anymore. I've seen things that I can't unsee. And I love how that's the overarching thing. Every person who we meet in this, who's our lead characters in all these, the War Dogs themselves, they all come back and they're like, I've seen things I can't unsee.
Excluding one.
We'll
get to him. We'll talk about him.
We'll get to him. Speaking of people we'll get to, Bobby Munson's in the chat. Hello, Ogre Lord. He says, I'm sorry, I totally forgot the show was happening tonight. I just got home and I feel like a total schmuck. It's okay, Bobby. Let's get to episode 2, Legends and Lies. Because this is by far my favorite episode.
Oh, dude. Easily best. This is, episode 3 is just behind this for me. It just, because I love the Greek. I love things about the Greek Trojan War. I love that kind. I love movies and shows that represent that stuff. Outside of Spartacus, I didn't really care for that show, but I love when things go into this. So it was perfect for me.
I really enjoyed this episode. I don't see 3 in the same light you do. I think 4 is the second best episode of this series. I have a lot of love for 4, and I'll get to that when we get to it as to why I really love that one so much. But yes, Legends and Lies, the Trojan War. This is a retelling of the Trojan War with Memnon being part of the with part of the Hatuzari, or the War Dogs.
Yeah,
where he is after a necklace that is held by the Helen of Troy. Which makes sense when you go back in the history and you think about Helen of Troy and Helen, the woman who, sailed 1,000 ships. All of the things you think about with Helen of Troy, having the power of a Wakandan amulet that she doesn't know she's controlling, that's helping her control all of these men, makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into this. You think Memnon is the villain?
Okay, he's not the villain, but he becomes the villain to Achilles. Again, I understand Achilles is very straightforward. He wants to win his war and kill Helen and her lover, and yeah, I couldn't remember his name. That's why. I understand, but Memnon's what's his Wakandan name? Bakat, he spent, I think they said he spent 9 years with them. So again, I don't think he's the villain, but he screwed his friend over here. He has spent 9 years with Achilles fighting this war, becoming friends, as they speak about throughout the episode. They speak about the friendship that has grown between the two, and like Achilles defending him to all the other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's accomplishing his mission for Wakanda, but lets them go in front of his friend. Essentially, in the eyes of Achilles, I understand him from 100%. This man he technically used his friend to get what he wanted, and essentially screw his friend.
But I mean,
in the end, it's essentially screw Achilles. I got what I wanted. He could have just taken the necklace and killed them both for Achilles. He really could have.
Yeah.
In the sense of it, right? But
he wasn't there to change history. He wasn't there to kill anybody. He was simply there to. Achilles was a means to an end for Bakai, and I can entirely understand that. He has his mission. He knows what he has to do, and he'll go through hell or high water to do it. It doesn't matter. Now, Achilles has every right to be mad at him, of course, because his friend betrayed him. But his friend's betrayal doesn't make him any less good.
I'm not saying he's doing he's doing the right thing for Wakanda, but he becomes a villain to Achilles. He
does the right things for the right reasons, and Achilles
he betrayed his friend. He betrayed his friend.
Achilles should have understood. If they were really that close of friends, Achilles.
Well, then Bakai should have let him know what the fuck he was doing earlier on.
We both know, have watching enough superhero shows, that was never going to happen.
But again, it's and then he shouldn't have gotten as close to Achilles as he did, because that's a dick move to do that to a person.
But you have to get close to Achilles to make sure that Achilles can do everything Achilles needs to do.
I understand, but I still look like I feel for Bakai, and I understand Bakai, but I also look at it as like he pulled a real dick move in here. But that makes me go, okay, when they go to the end and he's feeling out of place in Wakanda, I'm like, you deserve that. You deserve not to feel at home, because you're.
The bigger question is how much of this is on Achilles for the simple fact of when his friend explained himself, Achilles' only thing was, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to kill you. And it's like, Achilles, if you're as good a friend as you think you're supposed to be with Memnon,
he left Achilles to die.
Then he should have died.
But he left him to die, but Achilles is the greatest warrior. But
not the greatest warrior, because he lost this battle.
I understand. But again, because Bakai knew his weakness. And
the Achilles heel, you mean?
Yeah. But again,
is the biggest misnomer for where that comes from, because that's not where it comes from.
I know. It's a great. It's all mythology, anyways. But it's just one of those great things.
Larry Heron is fantastic in this episode. Adam Gold is fantastic in this episode. Lynn Winfield returns as an older Nani from the end of the first episode. We have some real fun names in this as well. Odysseus is played by Kif Vanderhovel. And then Paris is played by Yerman Gur. Yeah. So like I said, this is such a great episode. I love this because there are so many ways you can take this episode. There are so many. We could talk about this one episode for the 45 minutes that this episode.
Yeah, 100%. Easily.
Because you can see every side of this. You can see Achilles' side and why he's mad. You can see why Bakai had to do what Bakai had to do. And then older Bakai, you could spend 10, 15 minutes talking about how much his life, how right it is that he feels the way he feels, but also how heartbreaking it is for somebody to do something for somebody for so long, to come home to that space and feel like he doesn't belong.
And I look at I look at him having that inability to be home. What was the girlfriend from Black Panther 2? Or Black Panther 2? You know who I'm talking about, right? Black Panther's girlfriend there, who has his kid.
Nakia.
Sorry, I couldn't remember her name. I like the correlation because when she comes home, like in the first Black Panther, she says, "I can't come home," and she comes back, but then she left again, and you kind of get that feeling. You can associate it to a character that we have seen because she doesn't feel at home, and she doesn't feel like Wakanda's her home, but she doesn't feel like it's the place she needs to be. She lives out of Wakanda, and I can understand. Like it makes me kind of sympathize with him, but kind of deserves it for the shit he pulled. But
you also got to remember though,
I do feel for him.
With Wakanda 2, like you have to understand, like the reason she leaves Wakanda in Wakanda 2 is because of the death of T'Challa. Like that's what breaks her and makes it so that she can't stay.
Well, again, it's not home anymore.
First in the second movie, she does live there with him.
Yeah, and again, like, but I don't. The way I look at it, she doesn't feel like Wakanda's her home. T'Challa was her home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Without him, Wakanda just doesn't feel right, so she goes back to living out of Wakanda like she did before the events of Black Panther, right? So but it just gives me that feeling that I can understand what Bakai felt because I've seen this character have that same feeling before.
We then move on to 1440 AD in China, where we have Lost and Found.
Fuck yes.
We're in Kunlun. We're in Kunlun, which means we are going to deal with the Iron Fist at some point. And the war dog Basha has infiltrated to try to attempt to get back a dragon's tongue that was made of vibranium.
Oh my god. I love this episode so much.
This is our comedy episode of the night. Mm-hmm. Because this is the only time I laughed during this entire show.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, like you said, like this is a story. A bunch of the characters are learning and evolving throughout these episodes, right? Mm-hmm. No, like Basha is essentially the exact same person he was at the beginning of the episode, at the end of the episode. This man doesn't really evolve, even though like he doesn't really change. Like he's still just a jovial idiot who just wants to do what he does and live his life. And I completely respect this dude for just not giving two shits. He breaks the head off of it just to get the tongue back. Like he truly doesn't give a shit about anything. And even by the end of this episode, he really still doesn't truly give a shit because he lies to everybody to get. Yes, he gets his friend in a better position, but he lied to everybody all throughout the episode, and he doesn't really change because he goes, let's get her out, and he's still pulling the same shit at the end of the episode. Like he doesn't evolve. But it's almost perfection in a character.
Yeah. So in this story, after stealing, so most of these stories, the person has to work for most of the episode to be able to steal the item back and get it back home. Basha gets this thing in like 5 seconds. Gets his thing, runs it back to his ship in the snow, goes ahead and flies home. We find out that
okay. So what year is this? 14 AD. This is the 13th century or whatever, like or 15th century.
15th century.
How do they have jet propulsion?
Wakanda has everything, man. Don't you worry.
Wakanda has jet propulsion in 1400.
Wakanda has time travel in this.
In 2300 they do. In the future, they have time travel.
I'm pretty sure that Wakanda probably has time travel in Wakanda Forever.
No, but I'm just saying, like in 1400, that's the one. It's something in here. I'm just like, they don't have jet propulsion yet. No, I don't believe this. No,
I do. I totally believe that Wakanda had jet propulsion in 14.
I don't. And then the 1896 one that I can believe.
We'll get to 1896 in a minute. We need to talk about Jirani, the woman who saves him, who nurses him back to health. He betrays her. She sneaks onto the plane
after creating a relationship with her.
All in a day, by the way.
I don't know if it was exactly a day, but a couple days. But like they were literally sleeping together.
Okay. She's obviously a little too jealous. I'm just saying. She's a little too jealous. Either way, she goes ahead, tries to steal this back. They get into a fight. Our star of our episode is Ebo, by the way. Captain Ebo is fantastic.
We finally got an Iron Fist that knows how to do karate, who knows how to fight. We finally got a good Iron Fist in the MCU.
And this is why I'm saying we're never going to see a Danny Rand Iron Fist in the MCU.
I truly, because by the end of season 2, didn't Colleen Wing have the Iron Fist? Didn't she have the power by the end?
Maybe. I'm just telling you, Kevin Feige, with all of this, has made it perfectly clear that we are not. Astrid, thank you for joining us, taking time away from freaking out over the new Taylor Swift album and all of the choices that you have to make.
There's a new Taylor Swift album?
Huh?
There's a new Taylor Swift album?
Yes, the Life of a Showgirl will be releasing October, I believe it's 13th.
The world has just gotten a little bit worse.
I mean, the world's better with every Taylor Swift album. She even announced it on her boyfriend's podcast. But again,
I know. I saw a thing today about her. I'm joking with you, Astrid. Hey, you were the one that told me to watch the concert movie she did, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Oh, October 3rd. I apologize.
I really enjoyed that concert movie she did that's on Disney Plus. It was really good.
Oh, I know why. I know why I was thinking 13 is because it's her number, and I was thinking October 13th. It's October 3rd. 10 plus 3 equals 13. I've seen too many of these fucking Taylor Swift detective videos that all of her fan base does, and again, I got to be very careful because I can't upset the Swifties because Oh, it's also that too. I mean.
I have no idea what the reference is.
It's the day Aaron asks. It's the day Aaron asks. What's her name? Katie Heron. What day it is? In the Mean Girls movie.
Oh, I've seen that movie once.
You need to see it again. It's a very good movie. Anyways,
I'm good.
Yeah. So we find out that Jirani is the Iron Fist. This is fun. Like. They lie to, Captain Centauri Rakim, whatever it is, the guy who runs the artifact area. He promotes Ebo, so now Ebo's going to be a war dog like Bashar is. And then the episode just ends. It's fun, it's interesting.
They're gonna sneak Iron Fist back out. Yeah. Jirani, they're gonna sneak her back out. That's pretty much it. That's how it ends. So, like, I feel like this is the one episode where you had no true evolution in the character because Basha doesn't change. Like Ebo's the one that evolves in the episode, really.
Jack Coleman as Bashar, Jonah Zhao as Jirani the Iron Fist, Isaac Robinson Smith as Ebo. And then Rakim is Gary Anthony Williams.
I love him so much.
all of believe it or not.
Gary Anthony Williams. I love Gary Anthony Williams so much, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Isaac Robertson Smith was fantastic in this. And then we get to my second favorite episode, the final episode, The Last Panther. So I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna explain why I love this episode so much. One, I love like future back things where like we have to go back and figure out what broke to fix the timeline. Again, I would have really preferred this if we had some semblance of this in episode 1 so that we knew we were going to come back to it in episode 4. Because I would have
liked little stingers, like say the first episode she's like, I'm searching for the anomaly, and then the end of the episode, I guess we have to keep searching. Like just a bit at the top and bottom. Just saying we're gonna have to keep
each episode. Like even as a post-credit scene or just some kind of like seeing her in some way, shape, or form in the background of all of these episodes.
As a shadow, as just like maybe you're seeing it as a screen and you only see the back of the character, but like shadowed, right? And it's just like this wasn't it. And it just that's how you would bookend the episodes with a little stinger from each one. That would have made like help build to this final episode so much better.
However, I love the counterplay between Kuda and Prince Tefari.
That's good.
I thought this was really fun and interesting. A prince, but not a first generation prince. He's like, as he says, he's third in line. So he's like, my oldest brother will become the Black Panther. My second brother might probably become the king if my oldest brother becomes the Black Panther. And he's like, I have nothing. There's nothing I can do to add to my family's legacy.
And his whole thing is about history, right? His whole thing is about he loves history, right? So yeah. He wants to cement his place, which is really cool.
And I love that motivation where he's not doing it because he wants to be famous now. He wants to do it so that he can be famous years from now as a story that he learns about war dogs and the things that and he's mentioning kind of like the things that we're watching in these episodes that we've seen. And I'm like, that's really cool that we've set up that the war dogs are important. And he's like, I want to live like you did, Kuda, where he's talking to Kuda about things that Kuda's done in his past. And he's like, look, that was a different time. That was a different me. I just did my job and I did what I needed to do. I also love that the villains in this episode are called the Horde. For obvious reasons that Andre's well aware of. In this the Horde.
Do you know how much of an idiot I am? I watched that episode today, and I didn't make that connection.
Oh, I made it instantly.
And I'm an idiot for that.
Because you're in the Horde.
Yeah, I'm inside of the Horde, so I don't.
Also, one of the things that I loved about the Horde in this is it reminded me of Annihilus. For those that know the comic books or that have seen the animated Marvel, the Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, when in the Phantom Zone, when they not the Phantom Zone, in the Negative Zone, in the Negative Zone, when they're at the prison, and it gets overrun by all those alien like beasts, that's leading to Annihilus. That's what that was all going to be leading to. It was going to be leading to Annihilus. And I love the idea that we were kind of getting a tease that Marvel might think in the future about doing an Annihilus story. Because I think Annihilus is an area of Marvel Comics that you could very well do in live act, especially now with the abilities of CGI. I think having an Annihilus story could be a lot of fun at some point. So to see that there's kind of a little bit, even though it's never mentioned that it's Annihilus, they're talking about it as a horde instead of a swarm and things like that. It just made me think maybe somebody at Marvel's thinking about Annihilus. Because I think Annihilus is a really cool idea for a villain that we haven't done.
And I thought the bad guys made me think the Zerg from StarCraft.
Yeah,
because they're all about these like little creatures that have overwhelming masses that attack. So that's what kind of made me think it was. I think it was a Zerg. Is it Zerg? I think it's Zerg. I remember.
It might be. So we see a Black Panther. She doesn't give us her name. She just says that she's the Black Panther, and she is the last.
Yeah, Zerg. I got it right.
She is the last Black Panther because this horde destroys Wakanda, and she shows them with the technology she has. These people who are just about to hit the 1900s. She shows them what it looks like in almost 2400 when Wakanda is nothing but destruction, desolated and destroyed. And she says that there is going to be in the future, this axe needs to be put back because it has to be found in a specific museum by a specific young man who will lead one of our Wakandan leaders to go ahead and see that Wakanda needs to be part of the outside world, so that when this alien attack happens, that Wakanda is there to help save the outside world, as opposed to saving it itself and then falling to this in the same regard. I love we're bringing back Killmonger. I love that we're talking about T'Challa. I love how we're tying all of this back in to the MCU.
Well, so when he first stole the axe, I'm like, that looks really familiar. I was like, I was like, this looks really familiar. When I saw it, I'm like, kind of looks like Killmonger's axe. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I love how they recreate the exact scene of Killmonger in the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And even the final shot, like the post-credit final shot, is just Killmonger standing there looking at the axe. And I'm like, that was so cool. And I love how they get to this, and Kuda even talks about how this is his way of having a legacy. He may never know that he's the one. Nobody will ever know that he's the one who's done this, that he's done the greatest thing that Wakanda will ever hear about. And nobody will know about it but him. And he's like, that's it. At the end, out of all of them, he's the one who has the most, change, because he's like, that's okay. I know I did it. You know I did it. And at the end of the day, that's enough. I've saved Wakanda, and that's all that matters.
I thought it was, again, strong episode. For me personally, just the story, this is probably, I put this at number 3. I put this ahead of the first episode personally, because I feel like watching the first episode, it was like, it's as good. And the character of the lion is amazing, but overall that episode doesn't hold up as strong as these other episodes.
Yeah.
I thought a really strong episode. I love the connection to the future, and I love the futuristic Black Panther suit. Really cool. With the powers that she has in here. And then her with her fight with the Horde in the future, really cool. It was a good episode. I connected to those episodes 2 and 3 just a little bit more.
Steve Toussaint playing Kuda, Anika Noni Ross playing the last Black Panther, Deborah Wilson playing the Dora Milaje General, and of course Zeke Alton playing Prince Teferi. I love this. I thought it was great. Like I said, we've talked about how great this is. We do have to talk about this was produced by Proximity Media, which of course is a great thing, because it means Ryan Coogler is included in some phase or portion of this to make sure that I love how everything that Marvel is doing with Wakanda always goes through a filter of Ryan Coogler. Like, in so many ways, with everything Ryan's been doing, they could just be like, look, Ryan, we're going to go ahead and take our own little knock at this. And he's like, no, let me be a part of it. Even if I can't do everything, let me at least be eyes and ears on this. Let me help make sure that everything works. He's their go-to Wakanda expert. And I love that, because Ryan Coogler is on fire right now. Say what you want about the Creed movies. I enjoyed them. I thought they were really good. Sinners.
Yeah, those movies are awesome.
They're okay. They're great. I love them.
The Creed movies. They're awesome. I love them.
We also, when talking about Ryan Coogler in 2025, you can't not talk about Sinners. You can't talk about how great Sinners was. And again, I haven't seen it, but everything I've heard, everything I've seen, everybody I've talked to talks about how fantastic Sinners is.
See that movie. I'm sitting here just after all the movies I watched here, and as much as I love Superman, I'm still sitting here going, Sinners was the best movie I've seen this year.
I'm not a horror guy, so I have zero interest.
I'm not either. Honestly, I'm not a horror guy, and as much as this is just a horror film, it's a very beautiful story-built movie with horror. I would call this a story movie with horror elements. I think you would very much enjoy it.
I probably would, and I'll probably see it at some point. But we now get to one of our favorite things. There is no budget. We don't have numbers on budget. We don't have numbers on money because it didn't release in the cinemas. We do, however, have Rotten Tomatoes, Andre.
No.
This is going to be fun because I'm very interested in your reaction to this. The critics average tomato meter score. Let me guess, right? Isn't it a guess?
Yeah, you're going to guess.
I'm just saying I don't have. Oh, I'm sorry. I have a 36 number when it comes to the critics. So I have 36 critics apparently who have rated this on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. I'm gonna guess 90 for the critics because I think it's a really well written show.
92.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
All right. The popcorn meter, Andre. The audience score.
Okay. I love this. I really like this. You really like this. I feel like this, and I haven't read anything. I feel like this probably got review bombed because people are assholes, and anything that's not a white male superhero gets review bombed. I'm probably going to say this is another reflection of me. I'm going to say 45.
57.
Okay, higher than I thought it would be, but that's still this. While I don't think this is perfect, that doesn't deserve to be that low.
Oh God, no. I'm just trying to go into the details to see if I can get a little bit more on episode by episode here on some numbers. Give me 1 second. I'm opening new things. There's not enough people reviewing episode by episode to give any indication on what's going on. But yeah, no, I thought this was a really good episode. I thought this was a really fun and interesting thing. It's very different. I understand why I can understand why the audience score is so low. I can understand why the critic score is so high. This is not something that you need to see. This is a completionist Marvel Cinematic Universe thing to watch. It is going to have.
That's what we are.
It is going to have incredibly low numbers on Disney Plus. It's going to have no future because there's nothing you're going to do about this in the future, I don't think, because it's going to have incredibly low numbers and they're not going to bother doing anything else. I think you had a lot of fun people in here doing a lot of fun things. And I'd be interested in more, but I'm pretty damn sure we're not going to get it.
Yeah, I would watch more about it. I don't feel like they're going to get more.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Andre, I want to talk to you just a little bit more about something that we've talked about in a couple other episodes. And that's the box office. Because we're starting to get more box office numbers and things like that. By the way, update on the Fantastic Four. Rotten Tomatoes critic score out of 382 is now at an 86 with 10,000 plus popcorn meter reviews and a 91.
Okay,
I bring up those numbers specifically because I want to talk about the box office for this movie. I want an accurate new number. Box office. Here we go. I need the newest number. Box Office Mojo. All right. We have domestic numbers of $235 million, $204 million worldwide. You have a worldwide total right now and sitting around $440 million. This movie had a budget of I think the last number I heard was about 150 million.
So yeah, if you say 150, add about another 100 mil to that to get your marketing budget in place.
I think that was 200 plus. You're right, 200 plus million.
So let's say 225. Let's say 225 with marketing budget and everything. This movie needed 450 technically for a break-even point, but I'm gonna reiterate. This is gonna sound really stupid. Something James Gunn said on Twitter, and people have shit on him for it. He said that Superman didn't need to make like $600 million to be profitable.
I agree.
which I agree with, because as much as yes, you don't have all that money, like you don't make that money at the box office. You also need to remember that just because it's only made $440 million, most of the losses have already been recouped just from marketing stuff alone. Because every dollar that went into the box office, yes, but for every piece of Fantastic Four merchandise that has been sold since then, every Galactus popcorn bucket that was sold, I guarantee you Marvel gets a piece of that. That cup, Marvel got half the money you spent on that cup.
Absolutely.
Like they're splitting that, like they split them. That money gets split too. So that's what when people are yelling about this, and it's like, yes, do I feel like this is promising for them? No, because again, Marvel says to look at it and go, oh, it didn't make a crazy amount, but it technically came to broke even territory, and it's making money in marketing. It's going to make money when it goes to digital. There's still a lot of money for this movie to be made that we're never going to see because we only ever see the box office number.
I mean, if we look, we can find the other numbers.
Yes, but all the toys that have been sold that are associated with the movies and all this other stuff that is gone, that is all money in Marvel's pocket that goes towards this movie, that is credited towards this movie. So this movie is not a failure.
No, I wasn't going to say it's a failure.
Oh, I didn't think you would, but this is to everybody online that you're like, oh, I didn't make blah, blah, blah. It's not a failure. Yes, it's not a success. And again, we are in a very different world than pre-pandemic. Yes, Deadpool and Wolverine brought in, but that is an event tentpole movie that is an anomaly in movies. Yes, Superman has done more than it, but that was also a movie that has restarted a universe, that is technically a starting point for a universe, and then it's Superman, the most recognizable superhero in the world. So like, I've read so much lately about people just shitting on the box office and everything. And again, it's not great that in its third week it's already dropped so far in what it's been bringing in.
And to talk about the numbers in comparison to Superman, domestic numbers for Superman: $333 million domestic, 249 worldwide for $583 million. It's going. Ironically, as much as James Gunn talked about how it doesn't have to hit the $600 million mark to be considered a success, it's probably going to hit that $600 million mark.
No, but he's getting people yelling at him about blah blah blah. It's like, well, he's like, I never came out and said a movie has to make and he's saying online defending. It's like, I never said a movie had to make this much. That is you as fans and critics that arbitrarily put those numbers on things, because again, it's the marketing side of it. How much money they made off of like all the Superman merch out there, all that shit that is because of this movie that is sold. Yeah. Thank you, Terrell. Thank you for joining us. Hello. But yeah, it's those things that this movie is still. These movies are successful because again, you don't really. And then like for every bit of like every piece in these movies that is like if you see a product, the movie got given money for that product being in the movie, so that's money towards this movie being profitable and all these things. So when people yell about this numbers, yes, like the Marvels, that was a numbers failure.
Disney has announced in their own business conference calls and things like that. Disney announced that the Thunderbolts is considered a failure.
Yeah, but again, it's not technically failures. It's like.
And this is where me and you had a very interesting discussion the last time we talked about this, is because of the fact that it's not necessarily that it's going to be a failure, that it's going to lose money. It probably will lose money. And Fantastic Four might lose some money too. Fantastic Four won't be seen as a failure because it's doing well. It's going to be okay. The thing that we have to remember is every time Disney sees a movie come in less than what they think it should make. And again, these are business executives, not people who are in the movie making business.
This isn't Feige.
This isn't Feige. This is the executives at Disney who are like, I want to make money. I want to make money. They're going to look at films like Captain America or Brave New World, classified as a failure. I thought we both love that movie. We say it's a bit disjointed and it's two really decent movies, but at the end of the day, it was good. Thunderbolts. We praise to high heaven Thunderbolts. I saw the fucker 3 times because I love Thunderbolts. I've seen Fantastic Four twice.
I've only seen Fantastic Four once so far. That's so far.
But we got Terrell saying, I think it was a little too much exploitation and not enough of the family using their abilities together. But yes, still a great movie. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, if you want to see our full thoughts on the Fantastic Four as a movie and what we thought of it, a couple videos ago in the Marvel Talk playlist here on our local establishment, because you're on the YouTube side, there is a playlist for that. You can go ahead and see.
Isn't it the last movie? Last video?
It's probably the last one. It's one of the last couple.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cover my bases in case it wasn't the last show we did because I couldn't remember because it's been a while. But yeah, we do have our full review. This is just a conversation that I wanted to have with Andre again because coming out of, I believe it was Brave New World, we had this discussion about they can't keep having movies fail like this. And we were talking about Thunderbolts and we were talking about Fantastic Four and how we appreciate that, Terrell. Thank you very much.
Sir. Big thumbs up.
There's a whole bunch of different type of content. If you stay tuned when we get done here on our way out the door, we're going to play the calendar of all the other shows that you can see here on a weekly basis on our local establishment. Me and Andre will go over some stuff that we're doing in just a little bit. We are a variety channel. We have pop culture, we have wrestling, we have all kinds of good stuff. So, but like I said, we have
sports on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, we have a fairly regular Marvel show. We do some DC stuff too. We have a fairly regular Marvel show where we have at least 2 or 3 episodes, at least 2 episodes a month most of the time. So we're working on some other things because Marvel's slowing us down for a little bit here, so we're going to find some fun stuff to do. We've got a top 10 Marvel list coming in. I jumping all around. But the great thing is, you can
jump back to the beginning.
Just go back to the beginning when we get done, and you can go ahead and watch stuff up until when you saw your first comment. Yep. And I'll be all set. No, I just wanted to go ahead and talk about this because as we get ready to go into 3 banger movies coming out for Marvel, because we know Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming, and that's going to make a shit ton of money.
Yep.
We know both of the, regardless of whatever superhero fatigue we're dealing with, Doomsday will make a boatload of money. It will be $1 billion movie. It will be a Deadpool and Wolverine $1 billion movie.
Yep.
Secret Wars is the greatest story that Marvel's ever told in comic form. Secret Wars in comic form is one of the greatest stories that Marvel's ever told. Jonathan Hickman's run on the Secret Wars is something that is unparalleled in all of comic books. That movie is going to make a shit ton of money. Depending how good Doomsday is, Secret Wars might be chasing things like Black Panther, Infinity War, and Endgame in terms of money made.
Yeah,
it could. It won't. I don't think it will because of all the other things we've talked about with Phase 4, 5, and 6.
And again, you also have to look at the world we live in post-COVID. Like, the numbers, the theater numbers, yes, while good, do not hit, like, had take Deadpool and Wolverine and take away the pandemic. That movie is that's probably a $2 billion movie.
Yeah, probably.
But again, not as many people go to the theater anymore. People stay away because, again, people still don't want to go up. And the world we live in, you get half these movies a month and a half after they come out.
And that was the next thing I was going to talk about. Right where I was going. Thank you for leading me right into my next point is, do you think Disney, especially, and we'll talk about Superman 2 in this place too, because Superman comes out on digital, I believe it's next week.
Friday.
Is it Friday this week? I thought 15th. It was next Friday. Okay.
15th.
Okay. Do you think that these movies would do better in the theaters if Disney Plus and digitals, like having Superman be available on digital on Friday. Do you think these movies would do better if it were 3 to 6 months down the road where you have to see the movie in the theaters or you have to wait 4 more months to see it again?
Yeah, 100%. Yes. I think the theaters would do better. 100% yes. Because people can wait a month and a half, and they get their movie. Right? And again, I really it's a world we live in that the streaming option, yes, it did exist back in 2018 and 2019. It just it wasn't everyday life like streaming is today.
Yep. Terrell also asks, do you think Doomsday will be more of a cash grab considering they're bringing in 90-year-old Magneto in the X-Men? I mean, it's over 20 years since those characters were on screen.
Yeah. Okay. Dude, Superman was a cash grab technically. And yeah, if I'm Marvel and I can get Robert Downey back for this. I can get Ian McKellen. I can get Patrick Stewart. I can get Hugh Jackman. I can get the stars that we had before. I can
James
get
Marsden.
Chris Evans. I can get James Martin. That's not okay. Star, sure. James Marsden. You can get Chris Evans back. You can get all these iconic pieces back. Yeah, it's a cash grab. Yeah, 100%. Yes, it is a cash grab.
So,
but who doesn't want to pick up the biggest bat in the world and hit a home run? Who doesn't want that?
Here's the thing with, is it going to be a cheap cash grab? No. Is it going to be a cash grab? Yes. They're looking to make money. But when you're ending what they're ending with the multiverse saga and you're looking to kind of reset your universe, because remember, the next saga has already been announced. It is the Mutant Saga coming next. We're going to be getting a brand new X-Men movie. What Kevin Feige wants to do with Doomsday and Secret Wars, and what he was going to do with the Kang Dynasty, let's not forget that. All of this was in service of not so much resetting, but resetting the table. Not resetting the universe like pushing a button and everybody's different and things like that. But kind of resetting the table for where we're going to be and what superhero movies are going to be going forward. Mm-hmm. And I think that you got to remember, the X-Men that you're talking about, the 90-year-old Magneto and the X-Men, remember, Kevin Feige started his career in the movie business as a producer on those movies. He was a gopher on those movies. He was giving comics to Hugh Jackman to better help him understand how to play Wolverine. The reason why Hugh Jackman is so good at what he does and why he was so good at it for those Fox movies is because of the fact that Kevin Feige was there showing him what Wolverine in the comics would be and how to take that and adapt it to the Wolverine they were writing for him on a script from Bryan Singer, who was a terrible human being who we should never talk well of. But Kevin Feige got his start on those movies. Kevin Feige is what he is because of those X-Men movies. And to think he wasn't going to someday take all of that, especially once they bought it, and be able to kind of put a bow on those early years of his career, it's insane to think he wouldn't do that. Now, I have faith in Kevin Feige, and I especially have faith in the writing team and the directing team of the Russo brothers. And I believe it's just Marcus McFeely who's writing this one, right?
It is Michael Waldron and Stephen McFeely.
Okay, so it's McFeely, not Okay, I knew it was one or the other, and Waldron. I knew Waldron was a part of it, and I knew it was one of Marcus or McFeely, and I just didn't remember which one off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I have faith in all of them to do the things we need to do to make these movies great.
I really feel like I understand how it feels to be like, is it like, how do I say this? I'll sound like a jackass, but
no,
it's not going to be it's not going to be the same feeling you got at Endgame. It's not going to be the same feeling you got at Infinity War. That was 10 years of a intricately built story that led to this. We have had the last 6 years of disjointed storytelling that, while I have loved most everything, even Moon Knight, which I'm not a fan of, is still amazing.
Yeah.
It's not the same. This is,
and I'll also say, Terrell, if we're talking about how fulfilling can it be, the goal is the story. If you haven't already, and like I said, I have no idea if you have or haven't. We just talked about it minutes ago, and I don't know if you were here or not. Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars run. That's what all of this is based off of. It's based off the entire phase 4, 5, and 6 were essentially a version of Time Runs Out and the Secret Wars. Runs by Jonathan Hickman in the comic books. If you want to get a gauge as to how insane this could be and why bringing these people in and having incursions and things like that is going to be, the reasons are that comic run. And I would suggest watching. I would suggest Comics Explained. Rob does a very good job at Comics Explained, going over the Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars run, and he runs you through all of the comics for it. It's an incredibly lengthy video. It's about 6 hours. But he goes very in-depth into everything that's going on in the entire comic run there. That's somebody I would suggest if you want to know things like this and like that. That's where I'm coming from with them, is that I've got my Marvel United, where I'm reading the comic books.
You mean Unlimited?
Unlimited, sorry.
Me too.
But I'm reading some of the comics from Marvel Unlimited, and I continuously, on a weekly basis, watch things that Rob is putting out, because Rob is fantastic. And again, that's Comics Explained right here on YouTube. Comics Explained, I believe, is his tag on Twitter as well. Rob is a great guy. I love all the work he does. There are other people, and I know Andre prefers somebody else.
Comic Story, and it's like he doesn't go in depth. It's pretty much he tells you the story within a couple hours of an entire run. And again, it's very similar to Comic Explained. It's more just talking. He talks a story. He pretty much tells you the story. I don't know if Comic Explained gives you outside information or not.
A little bit here and there.
They're like, he'll tell you what the tie is to certain things and other points.
Okay, he's very familiar.
Yeah. There you go. It's perfect.
But like I said, that's where we're coming from with this, is that we've liked a lot of Phase 4 and 4, 5, and 6. To be honest with you, we're a bit strange. We liked Secret Invasion. We liked She-Hulk. Andre likes Thor: Love and Thunder for some godforsaken reason. Like, we've liked a lot of the things that have come out. So hopefully you'll stick around with us. Like I said, we've done it. We have on here, since you're here, we'll go ahead and we'll do the whole thing we do. We have the MCU Rebound series that we're going to be getting back to in the near future. We're trying to line up some guests for. Yes, we did. I think it is highly underrated. I think the writing in that show was absolutely fantastic. There was incredible dialogue. You can. All 6 episodes of Secret Invasion are here on the YouTube channel in the thing, so you can go ahead and find those. But yeah, no, we thoroughly enjoyed a lot of what Secret Invasion did. So the MCU Rebound series is us going back through the MCU, starting at Iron Man and going through movie by movie. We do reviews of everything as they come out. So we are getting ready to review. The next thing will be Marvel Zombies in October, I believe.
But we also have our DC branded show starting towards the end of August, where we'll be doing Peacemaker also.
Yeah, we've still got to chit chat about how I get to watch that, because I don't have Max.
Oh, I already have a way for you to watch it.
All right, that's cool, because I was gonna say I'm gonna need something.
Yeah, don't worry, I've got a website for you.
All right, but yeah, so you can go back. Like I said, the playlist has a whole bunch of stuff. You can kind of pick and choose. If you look on the YouTube channel under Marvel Talk, there's all kinds of great stuff there. We greatly appreciate you stopping by. Andre, tell Terrell and anybody else who's watching on Catch Up all the wonderful things that you've got coming.
Well, just dropped do a show over on Backbreaker Radio where I review all the local independent wrestling that I go to with my boy AWS. So check that out. Backbreaker Video, the pop spot over there on Backbreaker Video. We just dropped a new episode about the RCW show we went to last Friday. That just dropped on Tuesday. So please check that out. And then I will be back this Sunday talking all the sports that me and Bobby want to talk about. We're talking about the NFL preseason, giving y'all getting reactions from people about my crazy stuff from last weekend, with all my insane predictions. We'll see if anybody comes in with going, what the hell did you do? But yeah, so yeah, we have PV coming up, and then in a couple of weeks we'll be talking. We'll have to figure out when we're going to do Peacemaker, because that's a Thursday show, so that's going to be odd when we do this show. So we might get one every couple weeks. It might just be something like that.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Like I said, if you want to stop by, go ahead, and we got a whole bunch of different things coming up. We've also got me. I'm Ed Fries. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Skies at EdFries12584. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/EdFries2002. Here at our local establishment, while doing Marvel Talk with you, I also do Taking Over. Taking Over has had a revamp. Just as of last night was the first episode of the revamp. We are talking not about independent wrestling that we necessarily go to, but the world of independent wrestling as a whole, because there's so much great independent wrestling out there that you need to be able to check out. So we're going to be talking about it all. We talked last night about Chaotic Wrestling's Locked and Loaded show that I was at live and in person. But this week coming up, me and Bobby Munson, instead of my normal tag team partner, Ash Mazzaro, are going to be talking all things Richard Holiday and narcissistic behavior, which drops tomorrow on his YouTube channel. So go ahead and watch that on his YouTube channel. Then come watch me and Bobby talk all about it, because me and Bobby have been very excited when he announced that he was dropping this on YouTube, because I didn't get to go, even though it was in the area. I didn't get to go live. And then in 2 weeks on that Tuesday night show, me and Ash are going to be talking about Dreamwave. Dreamwave, The Hands Were Dealt is the name of the show that we're watching from August 1st. And it has fantastic stuff on that show, including a Nick Gage appearance. So I'm going to have to watch a Nick Gage match, which is something I haven't done since he wrestled Chris Jericho. So, oh boy, I'm sure as hell in for it. For all other things, our local establishment, you can find us down here at all these wonderful places, including Ol'Ed Podcast on almost all of your favorite social media handles. You can also find us on YouTube and on Twitch at our local establishment. Hit the like button. Give us a subscribe. Leave a comment with what you think about the episodes, especially if you watch it on catch up, or if you're here in the live chat, go ahead and leave an episode, because it goes ahead and pushes the episode out to more people. He just finished Peacemaker Season 1 not too long ago. It's great. I've heard great things. I'm very excited. And the wrestling connection of John Cena just makes a lot of sense.
No, but it's one of those shows that it is on Paramount, and I do want to get to it. I'm just behind on certain TV shows. So I do want to get to that. It looks like an incredible show.
Yeah. So we thank everybody for joining us, whether it's on catch up, whether it's here live. Terrell, thank you for being such an energetic member of the chat. We greatly appreciate it. I'm going to leave you guys, instead of with the outro video, I'm going to go ahead and play the calendar on the way out so you can see all the fun things we have coming up this week. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Fools are calling and I don't seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. Tell me the storm is coming, for the sake of all your lies.